We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tận thịnh, vị thứ pháp hội câm nhắc thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đần Thọ Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở Lại Hờ Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Tạc Nạc Tha Tô Ya Đạt Ya A La Ha Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian万劫难遭遇，我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。A Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Jing Liang, Great Master YongHua, all monks and nuns and all good advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư, Hòa thượng Kim Hóa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming. Tonight is the 7th of January 2022, beginning of the year. We're glad you're here to join us in this discussion of the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra, written by Great Master Jing Liang. He's pretty scholarly, so very profound wisdom that is probably very difficult to digest for way beyond for all of us, actually. Okay. However, I'm very glad that we're able to continue to do this because you just don't quit. You don't give up. I don't understand that much, but you keep on coming, so I have no choice but keep hanging in there. Just our chanti, same thing. You know, at this moment, we are on the very end of our 8th week. So 2 more weeks to go, starting tomorrow. How's that? And no one quit yet. What is the matter with you? You're all stuck to your guns. That's pretty impressive. I want you to know it's such a privilege to be able to do this with you. I can't tell you how impressed I am that many of you stuck in there. It's very demanding in so many ways. And so you tough it out, and it's well worth the support and the tolerance of many people who've been supporting us and been coming. Okay, and I want you to know the program is rather interesting. As the more we've been doing this for 15 years now, and we keep on cranking it up every single year. Now we are like doing 10 weeks, plus we're lecturing 3 times a week on sutras, which is quite unusual in a sense. And now we're going into pretty advanced concepts or principles of Buddhism. And so when you look at it, you know, I look back at how Master YongHua trained his disciples. I was never there. I never took part in any chanti when he was alive. So I really don't know what he exactly did with them. All we have are his tapes. There's no substitute for being there. Okay, so that's my lack of blessings, to not be able to receive direct instruction from the Great Master. However, when you look at the schedule, we're very similar in many, many ways. We discuss the chant instructions, and we're very lucky that we can draw on his instructions to get the foundations of the Weiyang chant training. Think about it. It's a real privilege, a real blessing to be able to receive that from the Great Master. I'm forever grateful to him. Okay, and interestingly, that many of you offered your own opinions as well. So all of us are speaking Dharma together from all over the world. So it really makes me feel proud that we haven't let down a lot of our supporters who've been standing by us all these years. Okay, so but you see. That's the Weiyang training right there, the quintessential Weiyang training, which is even better than when the Master Weishan was going through the cultivation himself, because we meditate and to increase our samadhi, okay, and that's the base, okay. And you're being this kind of environment where we get support to create this environment for you where you have no worries about worldly things such as food, shelter, clothing, medicine, and all those things, okay? Money, children. So you put all those things aside and you concentrate on the work, so it's a rather interesting Weiyang style of training that Master YongHua brought to our country, and we're trying to replicate it and see if we can even make it better. Don't be offended. In Weiyang, we expect our students to do better than we do. We never try to be number one, like some Koreans who says, I have to be number one. You're not number one. I'm happy. No, I want you to be better than me. And when the time comes and those of you who are ready come to me and say, hey, I want to be better than you, then I say, okay, let me try to help you how to become better than I am. Okay? Then that's the Weiyang style of training. We don't try to repress you. Because when you become better than me, then it's a shortcut for me to become better than me myself. Because I get blessings from you. Anyway, so So you see, and so we've been practicing when like Master Wei Shan, he practiced meditation in the mountains. I think Master Xinhua eventually will tell the story about Master Wei Shan's itinerary, how he became enlightened, how he practiced. And I think our training is a lot more well-rounded than Master Wei Shan originally went through, even though we're not as rigorous as he is. So, win some, lose some, on the average. I feel it's better for our times right now because you are planting the seeds for the ultimate Buddhist wisdom. Whether I understand this or not is not important, but we all listen to all this great Master Qing Liang's teachings, and that's the best seeds possible, wisdom seeds possible for you, for all of us. So we all benefit from this, myself included. So for that, I'm very grateful for your coming. It's a long speech, isn't it? I'm getting old, too emotional. Okay, so we're on slide 85. We are continuing to discuss Master Qing Liang's scholarly treatment of this sutra. He says, before I discuss this sutra, you better know, these profound principles. Oh, thank you, young man. You like my statues? Brand new from China. Where was I? So he says, this sutra, I'm going to go through the 6 requirements of what determines a sutra. So he himself certifies that this sutra is a Buddhist sutra, and the way he discussed it, don't be alarmed because it's kind of beyond us, but it tells you that he certified the sutra is actually recognized as a Buddhist sutra throughout the universe. How cool is that? Huh? I mean, so far, when we discuss sutras, we only talk about, Shakyamuni Buddha spoke the sutra in that impossible place in India, Mount that no one can pronounce except the Indians. Gradakakatu, whatever, Vulture Peak is the English word for it. And so you see, the sutra was spoken at a particular place in India, particular place and so forth, and therefore it meets the requirement, or it took place somewhere. Actually, the master also says so. He says, Master Qing Liang says, he spoke under the Bodhi tree for 21 days, and during that time he also went to other places as well in this higher world. And you should know that also being spoken everywhere as well. Okay, so it's this tells us that the kind of wisdom that the sutra, the realm, the range, the domain of wisdom is incredible. When I discuss Vasha Sutra or Earthsor Sutra or the, what else did we discuss? 6-page Sutra, all the sutras is actually one place in the entire world. Actually, Master Qing Liang is certifying, is being spoken everywhere, every single world, all the time. That's the range, that's the scope of the sutra. Isn't that incredible? Okay, so we are on slide 85. It says, there's a host here that being spoken, and so there's a Shakyamuni Buddha is speaking it right here, as well as another Buddha speaking the sutra somewhere else in another Buddha land, and so forth, okay? On and on and on, okay? Think about that. So the domain, it's pretty impressive. 86. Furthermore, the above 10 places all constitute arisal from conditions, and so mention of one includes them all.
右上10处共为缘起，举一全收。
Okay, no, if you stick to the words here, that's very Chinese. Oh God, it's so literary, it's so elegant, it's so abstract, okay? And it's so Chinese. So he says, when the Buddha speaks dharmas, when Buddha speaks dharmas, okay, it's because it's the right time to speak the dharma, and the dharma is appropriate for the students. That's what arisal from conditions. Buddhas never speak dharmas without the proper conditions. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time. Your time as well as the Buddha's time. Okay? So that's why he says the places that are being spoken, the sutra being spoken, actually it's being chosen because for the right reasons, if you will. Okay? And therefore, if you believe in that, you believe in the fact that Shakya Buddha had to speak the sutra here in our world. When he went to the heavens, spoke the sutra, a certain chapter of the sutra, for his mother, okay, who's residing in the heavens, okay, waiting to become the mother, the next Buddha. So Lady Maya, who died 7 days after she gave birth to Shakyamuni Buddha, she went up to the heavens and stayed up there, enjoyed all the heavenly blessings. Actually, it's not true. She cultivates up there. It appears on the surface she's enjoying herself. Well, actually, it's not true. And so she stayed in the heavens and waiting. Part of her cultivation is to wait. Wait for millions of years until Maitreya Buddha comes around. And then she has to go down to earth again to bother Maitreya Buddha. Yeah, become the mother. She vowed, part of her practice is that she vowed that she would become a mother of like 1,000 Buddhas. That's a long time, think about it. So you mother one, you die, you're done. As soon you give birth to this Buddha, I say, okay, I'm done. Sayonara, went away to the heaven, went back to her heavenly palaces and stayed there, and then God knows what she does. And she waits for the next Buddha, and then she goes down, okay? And in order to give birth to the Buddha, think about it, she has to be born, okay? Not sure she enjoys being in India. I don't know. You tell me. Compared to the heavenly palaces? Seriously? That's personal sacrifices. You see that? So he went from heavenly palaces to Indian palace. And then because her blessing is that she was born into a royal family, so she wasn't lacking in many things, but still, okay? And she grew up and went through puberty and all those things. Oh, God. And got married, okay, pretty young age as a teenager. Huh? Jill, think about it. Your mother gives you away at the age of 13 and 14 to be married. Okay? And then when the time comes, you have to father Maitreya, and then, mother Maitreya, not father, excuse me. Okay, they carry him around for God knows how many years. Okay, because by the time Maitreya comes around, that lifespan on our world would be around 80,000 years or kalpas, I forgot. Okay? So anyway, it's a long, long time. So you see, so all these things occur because it's the way the Dharma happens. Okay, and for this Dharma to be spoken, explained, it's because all these conditions must be right for that to happen. Okay, so you see how patient the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are. Maya is waiting patiently for Maitreya, and wait for Maitreya to become a Buddha, and then Maitreya himself will speak the Avatamsaka Sutra as well. Okay. Yeah. All right. And so you see, so when you mention that the fact that, so the great Master Ching Liang says, when you mention the fact that you agree with the fact that this Buddha spoke the sutra based on the proper conditions, then it's also is replicated throughout the entire universe, throughout time. That's his logic. All right? That's conditions for you. 88. That is because each one of the places is congruent with the Dharma nature.
以一一处称法性故。
Okay, so 89. He says, I just explained to you the low-level understanding, but he actually says here, actually goes a little bit much higher level. He says because each place here, okay, or place where the Buddha spoke the sutra is part of this Dharma nature, okay, this universal, this Dharma nature. That's why it pervades everywhere. Okay. The Dharma nature is everywhere. All right. Don't try to understand. Just listen. Don't worry about it. Even if you understand, don't be so proud. Oh God, there's a lot more you don't get. 90. Moreover, just as each of the previous times correspondingly pervades all of these places.
而随前一依时皆变此诸处。
Okay, Kong has a question. Go ahead, Kong.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Is Dharma nature same as Buddha nature or are they different?
That nature, Buddha nature is the same thing. Yes.
Thank you.
Once you reach the Buddha state, Buddha Dharma is all the same. It's because we differentiate. Okay. Moreover, he says each of previous times correspondingly pervades all places. So the master says, I explained to you the other places and so forth, and 10 times we discussed before about 10 different places, and you should not think of it as 10 times, 10 places only, but actually it replicates throughout infinitely, if you will. Okay. 92. So too is each of these places replete with all those previous times, and all at once the sutra is spoken.
又随一一处皆具前时顿说此经。
Okay, this is 93. This is the inconceivable state, the Avatamsaka Sutra, where we are not bound by our limited mind, where if you insist on understanding and rely on your logic, okay, you fall short. Actually, these places are not non-obstructive, meaning that each place is replete with the characteristics of the other places. Okay, and in general, when you talk about worlds, the three kinds of worlds of things, the world of living beings, and world of wisdom and proper enlightenment. Okay, meaning that world of things are the things that we are aware of, things that our sense organs can pick up. Okay, in sentient things. Okay, and then the world of living beings or sentient beings were actually where we try to serve these sentient beings. And then of course, there's a world of the wisdom, the Buddha's wisdom and proper enlightenment. Okay, so which includes both 1 and 2. Okay, above. So this above discussion is from the world of things. So talk about places. Okay, in sentient beings. 94. That is when described in terms of the world of things, and if described in terms of the world of wisdom and proper enlightenment and living beings.
此由曰气世间说，若曰至正觉，即众生世间。
So the master says, above I just discussed with you this place from perspective of a place, meaning a thing. Okay, actually there's more to that. You can look at from the angle of living beings or the angle of proper enlightenment, wisdom or enlightenment. 96. Then each and every Buddha's bodies, limbs, joints, and hair pores all include inexhaustible or multi-layered kshetras.
即依佛身之睫毛孔，皆摄无尽重重之刹。
So 97, and then if you look at from the perspective of both sentient beings and Buddhas, or the worlds of wisdom and proper enlightenment, okay, then each Buddha's bodies, whether his limbs, joints, or hair pores, all include inexhaustible multi-layered kshetras. Okay, so you can imagine this Buddha here. His body is infinitely humongous, and you zoom in, you see this, this world, and you zoom in some more, and you see more worlds and more worlds, more worlds, infinitely multi-layered. So that's why the Avatamsaka Sutra, part of the concept here is chung chung, multi-layered. Okay, you understand this thing here, and you zoom in, you have another layer, and you zoom in, you have another layer, infinitely. Okay, infinite layers. What's the relevance? You look at a smaller scale, for example, your sickness in your bodies is multi-layered. Because whether it's physical, whether it's mental illnesses, you fix one layer, okay, and then it come back. But actually you don't realize it's a next layer, and a next layer, a next layer, until you die. Isn't that great? Something to look forward to. All right, so inexhaustible. Because our karmic retributions is inexhaustible. Our karmic extractions are inexhaustible. So don't get depressed. It's just life. 98. Universal worthy and living beings are each that way as well. All are places where Vairochana speaks the sutra.
普贤众生一一皆尔， 并是遮那说经之处。
Okay, so before the master says, you know look at the Buddha, whether his limb or his hair pores, his hair, okay, you zoom in, you see it's another layer of worlds and kshetras and so forth. And then you zoom in and you see another worlds of Buddhas and living beings of kshetras and so forth. And you zoom in some more infinitely, okay? And he says, that's Buddhas, right? But wait a minute. Not just Buddhas, living beings too. And it's funny that he includes bodhisattvas as living beings. For us, bodhisattvas like, poof, how cool. I wish it could be a bodhisattva. But no, he says, actually universal worthy, who manifests himself as a great Mahasattva, is that way too. You look at the Mahasattva, bodhisattva, or even you know, the Buddha looks at you and says, okay, you actually are also multi-layered. That's why your sicknesses are also multi-layered. YouTube, go ahead.
From C.Y. Wang, we should vigorously...
He's still around? Wait a minute, I've been... that's, most people don't quit. Go ahead, sorry.
From C.Y. Wang, we should vigorously cultivate and ask ourselves, am I improving daily, instead of asking if I'm better than so-and-so? Is that correct?
Would be better for you, yeah. Cultivation is now not about being better than someone else. This is worldly concept, that I'm better than you, I'm richer than you, more famous than you. It's very worldly to think like that. All that matters, as far as cultivation is concerned, is that am I better than myself? That's the only thing that matters. Am I better? How do I make myself better than myself? Because why bother comparing yourself with others when you are a Buddha? Huh? As far as Buddhism is concerned, you're a Buddha to be. So just be better than yourself. Why bother with Dewey or... So it's only because worldly people are confused. That's why they use the wrong criteria to measure themselves. That's all. And it's temporary. That's why it's up to us to remind all of you that the biggest challenge is to improve upon yourself, become better than yourself. All right? Good question. All right. 100. The third, relying upon the host, inasmuch as the true body is boundlessly vast, it unites in substance with the Dharma realm.
第三，依主者，夫真身谬阔，与法界合其体。
Okay, so for a sutra to be spoken, I'm at Prologue 101. 101. For a sutra to be spoken, to be deemed to be validated as a Buddhist sutra, you need to have the time when it's spoken, the place where it was spoken, and then the person who spoke it, because a person has to be qualified to speak. Otherwise, that sutra is no good. Okay? You just don't just like, today I've been quoted things, I said, where does it come from? Who said so? Please don't tell me or give me garbage and junk, because you need to, before you give me data, you need to validate for me that the data came from empirical, from reputable sources. Okay? Just like when I speak Dharma to you, it comes from sources, verified sources, and validated sources. Okay, so the same thing. So this host here is a person who's credible enough for us to believe. Okay, and that's why it's so important because we're not Buddhas, because therefore the Buddhas have to send his disciples as bodhisattvas. However, just to make sure that you don't have any doubt whatsoever, not just any bodhisattva, it's fake bodhisattvas even. How is that? To verify, to certify these sutras. Think about it. It's so cool. Think about it. It's so clever. The Buddha says, I speak of these things. You have no clue what I'm talking about. Let's face it, you stupid. I know you're stupid. So I'm going to tell you what. Because you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to send you a Tiantai, guy in Tiantai school by Sutra, great master Sutra, who says, a Buddha Sutra has all these requirements. One of them is that the host has a person who can speak the sutra. Host means a person who's qualified to speak the sutra. Okay, and so Sutra has to teach us. This is a Buddhist sutra because the host is a valid one. Okay, and that's what happens throughout Buddhism, whether it's Chan school, whether it's Sutra school, whether it's Tantra school, and so forth. Okay, Buddhas have to send someone like Sutra, like Master YongHua, okay, who says, this is a sutra. This is actually spoken by the sixth patriarch, spoken by Shakyamuni Buddha, but spoken by Vimalakirti, okay, who is actually another Buddha, okay, and so forth. And then just think about it. Some smart Alex somewhere in United States, we have a lot of those. Okay, he says, but they're bodhisattvas. How can they possibly certify someone who's higher level than they are? Valid objection. So Buddha says, I know you would say that, but universal worthy actually is a Buddha, but he only pretends to be a bodhisattva so that he can certify me. Okay, so that's why these Buddhas have to pretend to be a bodhisattva to certify another Buddha speaking the sutra, and then because universal worthy certified it, he happened to be here, so he accepted a bunch of disciples, okay, and he taught them, and they believe him, just like I believe Master YongHua. I have no wisdom whatsoever, but Master YongHua, who was a disciple of Universal Worthy and Wanyin Bodhisattva and so forth, and he believed them, and I believe Master YongHua. So that's how Buddhist sutras are certified throughout time. Isn't that fascinating? Okay, certification is key to maintaining high quality and sustaining faith in our followers, not just simply talk. Okay? It's from people. I never met Universal Worthy, okay, but I met Master YongHua, okay, but he himself probably met Universal Worthy, Wanyin Bodhisattva, six patriarchs, so forth himself. So that's why we low levels don't get to see the great Mahasattvas. Okay? We're like down at the bottom of the barrel. And so we have all these referrals of actually living beings, live beings, real beings in the flesh you can touch, you can talk to, who actually certify these sutras for us. In contrast to many of other religions where they simply accept it by words without what we call certification. Okay, so anyway, so here the third one is a host. It says here that the Dharma body or the true body of the Buddha is boundlessly vast. Actually, it's the same. It says, okay, so it's 于法纪合一体. So it says the Buddha's body is actually the same as the Dharma realm in substance. It's no difference. Okay. 102. It is all-encompassing with nothing left outside and grants the myriad transformation alike its use.
包罗无外，与万化齐其用。
Okay, so we like to differentiate the Buddhas. Okay, well, actually, the great Master Ching Liang says Buddhas actually is the same as the Dharma realm, as universe, if you will. Okay, and therefore it's all-encompassing. Okay, why does he make the analogy of Buddhas as a universe? Because universe contains everything. Okay, and the universe is where all these myriad transformations are taking place endlessly. Right? So it includes everything. The universe includes everything. Okay, and this universe here. Okay, this universe here has the myriad transformation. Okay. Has this universe here is constantly changing, evolving, okay? So that's called use, okay? And this is very important Buddhist concept, okay? That was not clear to me when I first learned about Buddhism. It was frightening, actually. It's called functions, called use, yung, Chinese yung, Vietnamese yung, okay? Korean, what's Korean? A short lady.
Yung.
What?
Yung.
Yin.
Yung.
Yung. Same thing as Vietnamese. You might as well be Vietnamese. Wait a minute. She's the only Korean here, so we pick on her. When I'm back in Wade Mountain Temple, I don't dare pick them because the Koreans outnumber us. Plus, concubine is the most vocal of them. She'll go on strike and stop giving me tea. Anyway, so the transformation meaning the things you observe, the things are changing, the changes in the universe, the changes that are happening right now in the universe is called transformation. Okay, it's called the use of the substance. Okay, so that's the concept of use. The substance is there and it's being used for a purpose. Okay, just like. So that's why Buddhist monks and nuns, you have to be careful when people give us a grain of rice, okay? Give us $1. In our case, maybe $2, huh? Okay? When people give us something, what do? First thing he says, what do you have in mind? Okay, what's the use of this? And that's why we Buddhists are very careful. In Mahayana, we're so careful. When someone gives us something, we need to be very clear about why and what's supposed to be used for. And that's a job of an abbot, by the way. Abbots don't realize it. Abbots says, they give me money, so I'm gonna buy myself a red car. No, you have to ask them, is this for my red car? Is it for... If it's not for the red car, then you can't use it for a red car. Because if you use it, you put it in the wrong use, it's called stealing from the triple jewel. That's a very serious offense. And this is why we all get in trouble. Sometimes you say, no, so even they're not going to remember? No. Someone remembers. Someone called cause and effect remembers. Okay? And we pay. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. We lie to you, we cheat you. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, we have to pay for it. So, that's the use of substance. So this universe is there, okay? And all the changes are the manifestation. All the sound world coming into being, and then eventually disappearing, Buddha Dharma coming into being and disappearing, Pure Land coming to being somewhere in the west here of our galaxies. It's for a particular purpose. All right? Hopefully, the higher purposes are in order to help all of us become Buddhas. Okay, 104. If one probes the source, there is no duality. If one grasps at the traces, there's no multiplicity.
穷源末二，直机多端。
I hope he explains more. Okay, he does. And see, the great master is so scholarly. And that's why we disciples, second generation in here in this country, we have such a hard time translating this because it's so difficult. You know what he's talking about? If one probes the source, there's no duality. Okay. And we should be grateful for the DRBA to translate to this point here, which is pretty good translation. Okay, there are 10 doors. They translated 2, and they struggle like heck to translate the rest of the 8. And we cannot even. We've been translating door number 3 ourselves, and we're struggling as well. Okay, it's a thankless job. No one appreciates it. Now, we don't understand it, so we can't claim credit for it either. But that's all we can do, try our best. Okay, now, one probes the source. Okay, the source here, the source of it all, okay, meaning Buddha nature or Dharma realm. It's only one source. Okay, it all came from Buddha nature. It all came from this universe, this Dharma realm. Okay, so it's only one. Okay, that one thing there became 2. Okay, but you go back instead of looking at the observing external things, like observing a person, observing a boy, observing a thing. Okay, then you are looking at duality. Okay, you're looking at something that is already been transformed. Before transformation, before that thing happened, before the boy was born, before anything ever that you can observe comes into being, okay, it came from a source. Okay, that one source there has no duality at all, meaning that from that source, the one source, was born. Creation was created. Okay, things came to being through transformations, and it came to being by engineer. How can something last? Because of engineer structures. Structures. They build structures.
The thing lasts long or not long. It depends on its foundation.
To engineer. Okay. Forget it. Okay. Yeah. The wonderful things about the universe is that there are diametrically opposing forces. That's why we have balance. Things cannot exist without the opposing forces, negative, positive. Even Eve and Adam. Okay? Dewey and Liang. In other words, Zhu and Tuan, look at them. You cannot be any more different pair of people. Okay? And that's why their marriage lasts. Because if they're the same, they cannot last. So that's what them people call structures. Am I wrong? This guy now he's teaching me about structures. What am I to say? Just nod your heads. Structure is using opposing forces. Isn't that cool? I can be an engineer too. I should have been an engineer. Okay, so this is the wonders about the universe. It's built by opposing forces. That's called duality in Buddhism. That's why Vicky is who she is because of Michael. Go home, tell honey that. Honey, honey. Call him. Honey, honey.
Right now? Oh, honey.
Okay? So that's why the world is so wonderful. You always need two in order for it to last. Okay? And the only way for you to transcend it is go back to the original where only one. You transcend. Because this two here, it is still subject to production and extinction. The two will have to be born, and then they have to die. That's the problem. It only can last for so long. Because they're two. They need each other to survive. Okay? In order for you to last indefinitely, okay, you cannot depend on anything. Meaning you have to be everything. Okay? So that's what it says. From the Dharma nature or the Buddha nature, which is one source, which means it includes all, inside of that thing, this universe, the galaxies came into being through whatever they want to call it, the big hole or Big Bang or whatever you want to come, to explain it, okay? from different angles, different perspectives. You can observe as a Big Bang, could be from magic, doesn't matter, okay? But there's so many ways it comes about, okay? And so that one source there that includes everything, and all of a sudden there are changes that occur within the one source, okay? And the changes occur, okay, and that creates duality, opposing forces, to maintain balance, okay? So that's called duality. That's why you need, as a living being, the lesson is that we need, as a living being, we need to embrace duality. Because that's us. Case in point, do not look down upon men, you women. Shame on you. We're weak, yes, but you need us. Okay? And another example is that demons, evil people, you cannot become gooder or better unless there's more evil. Don't tell the demons that. Think about it. For you to improve, you need to be faced with a more evil force than before, so that they put more pressure on you, we rise to the occasion. That's why the model where you cultivate and be comfortable, sounds familiar? Is death. It's no change. That's a fallacy. It's a fallacy about cultivation. You're supposed to feel pleasant, be blissful. Baloney. Okay? You need the pressure. You need more evil. Okay? Does it make sense? So encourage the wife to be more evil. Look at him. Oh my God. Now it makes sense. I've known you for 15 years. It's not getting any better. You are getting better, and clearly she's getting worse. And that's not mention his name, okay? Isn't it wonderful? Think about it. It's just like you just say, oh, I did it all by myself. Baloney! You can't. No one can. So what about, when I first started, I said, I see a demon, I want to kill him. I want to learn Shranga mantra. I want to learn all these weapons, Vajra weapons, to kill him. No, it would kill them, then I'd be stuck. So let's just hurt them. Don't kill them. Yes. Any questions? No? Yes, I thought there's some people who are. Yes, Blue.
Thank you, Master. So if we continue to improve, then we will have more challenges. Am I right? And then the challenges will become more difficult. Is that so?
Are you worried? Am I detecting a sort of little bit trepidation?
Shaking in my boots.
And that's the nature. And the nature of it is that it's a little bit beyond you. But you know what? The good news is that, yes, a little bit stronger than you, it's more overwhelming for you, okay? But actually, if you have blessings, your blessings will protect you. This is why Mahayana is superior. Because this is invisible force called your blessings will protect you. You have no fear because of that, excuse me. You don't have enough protections, you don't have enough blessings, tough luck, break. Better luck next time, that's all. To say that, for men to say that, I can handle it, I can hack it, I can figure it out, is to overestimate themselves. Your protections, your blessing protection is like trying to using your fist to hit against steel. Okay, your blessings is steel, and your fist is the demon. Okay, it makes a lot of noise, boom, 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 but so what? Okay, anyway, so that's now we talk about concept of duality. So all start with one source. Okay, and because of some conditions, it arises pairs of opposites, okay, to create structures called worlds. Called families, called countries, called bridges. So it's all conceived by the Buddha, and then we certify engineers. And then engineers had a big head. Oh, I'm such a good engineer. I'm better than Buddhas. Can you imagine? I'm a better programmer. Oh, please. Buddhas created programming a long, long time ago. Just kidding. Okay, so that duality. Okay, and if one grasps at the traces, okay, grasp here is a Buddhist concept that is part of our lives. We grasp at things because we are attached to them. We grasp because either of love or what else? What's the reason why we grasp at things? Come on, engineer, you should know. He's thinking. Let me check my books. When I call you engineer, it's the clue. Why? Structures. You grasp a thing because we love or hate. Hate is an attachment, very heavy attachment. Just the opposite spectrum from love, that's all. So Bình Đẳng Chính Sinh loved Daniel. And one day, she hates Daniel to death. And that's what Catholics deserve. QED, I ended my demonstration. Okay, so if you attached to things. You're attached to the Pingdang teaching, attached to Daniel. Okay, that's meaning you look at manifestation. Daniel is just some sort of Catholic. Okay, so you attach to that. Okay, then it multiplies indefinitely. What does it mean? Cordelia. Babies! Indefinitely. And then they make more babies, and then more babies, and more babies. You see, if the Master Ching explained like this, no one will want to investigate the Avatamsaka Sutra. Yes, he said, if one grasps at the traces, there's multiplicity. Isn't it beautiful? It is so elegant, it's so eloquent. Huh? At the traces, okay? Why traces? The Chinese is so profound. Chinese teaching is so profound. I mean, it's incredibly profound. Yes.
So I guess it's traces because they're not the real thing. They're just like shadows or reflections. They're the fake. So that's why they're called traces.
Ji is trace. Okay? What's Ji? What's Ji?
What's
Ji?
It is trace. It's like I think it has to do with the footsteps, like after footprints.
Exactly what I was thinking of. Footsteps must have telepathy. Maybe. Yeah. So when you look at footstep and imprint on, shall we say, the beach? Half Moon Bay? I keep on hearing Half Moon Bay. Never took a drive over that direction yet. Yeah, there are good restaurants? Really? Okay, and another reason why I should go. Next lecture. Vanessa, huh? Agree? Picnic. When you look at the trace on the sand, what do you see? A footprint. You don't even see the person. You don't even see the shoes. You only see parts of it, a small section of it. That's what traces are. Okay? And that's what we do. We grasp at traces. Because we can only see traces. We cannot see the big deal, the whole thing. We fall in love with our wives because we fall in love with their traces. Isn't it sad? We're losers. The wives are better. They say, I don't need them. But we need to fall in love with them. Look, it's not the same woman anymore. You still love her. What is the matter with us? It's so sad, isn't it? And then we tell ourselves, oh, I love her because I love my children. They too are traces. It's on and on and on and on. It's depressing. Okay? That's why there's multiplicity. It multiplies indefinitely. Meaning that once you love her, engineer, you come back and love her again. maybe next time as a dog. Isn't it scary? Why do you think some dogs are so loyal and love their master so much? Ask Sarah. She's crazy about her dog. Okay. YouTube, go ahead.
From 平等清净, Master, I am not attached to Daniel.
Excuse me. Speaking of the wolf, go ahead.
Master, I am not attached to Daniel, but you were right about me hating him.
Okay, Daniel, I'm so sorry, man. You know what the Vietnamese would say? Daniel, let me teach you a Vietnamese piece of wisdom. Siran, are you ready? Can you translate into English this? Không thèm.
I don't want it.
I don't want you anymore. Go back to Vietnam, tell her. That's what the Americans say. When the Americans didn't like me, they say, go back to Vietnam, go back where you came from. I said, what? I'm American? No, you're not. Okay, so anyway, why are we into Daniel and, loser men losers? I mean, okay, and one loser man multiplies into infinite losers. No wonder it's more women than men nowadays. 106. The one body and many bodies are differently discussed in the sutras and shastras.
一生多生，经论一说。
Yeah, and 107. One body here refers to Vairochana, meaning a Dharma body. Many bodies are referred to his transformation bodies throughout the universe. Vairochana transforms himself as Shakyamuni Buddha in our Sao world, also transforms himself as some sort of Vietnamese guy, Again, it's many transformations. Right? Just don't ever think that Vairochana only helps us by manifesting as Shakyamuni Buddha. He manifests into all sorts of people, engineers, programmers, losers, winners, Okay? And so that's why the Buddhist sutras have many different sutras to discuss these things. Okay. 108. Is the Buddha who now speaks the sutra the true or the response, one or many?
经说此经，佛为真，为应，为一，为多。
Yeah, so now he addresses, you smart aleck academians, okay? Would one bring me back to, the bigger views instead of, these gossip that YongHua likes to indulge in, okay? Daniel and Pingdeng Qingjing, to demonstrate one and the many and the infinite, losers and winners. So now he says, listen, the host, we're discussing host, the person who spoke this sutra, okay? Is that this person who spoke the sutra, is that the Vairochana Buddha, okay, meaning the true body Buddha, or the response body? Response here refers to, he manifests Shakyamuni Buddha, okay, which is a response Buddha. And so that is called a response body because it's in response to some conditions. What conditions? To respond to those living beings who need to be saved, who are ready to be saved, like us. Buddhists, no Catholics. So, Bình Đẳng Ching Ching, get rid of him. I dare you. Okay? Okay, so the response here, so he says, so who is the host? Are we talking about Vairocana, the big Dharma body? Because you keep on telling me it's being spoken everywhere. So are we talking about Vairocana being speaking the sutra everywhere, as long as here, or is this a Shakyamuni Buddha? See, it's very, 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 very scholarly. And that's why it is so profound. And it's so impressive that even the scholars cannot argue against his logic. It's so thorough, so exhaustive. Yes, you too.
From Pingdeng Qingjing.
Oh no.
Master, Daniel said to me, you told me not to marry me. Did you say that for real?
In response to whatever happened, yes. Maybe. Oh God, we go into getting very personal. Okay? 110. If you say he is the truth, then how can you term him Shakyamuni Buddha residing in our world, whom humans and gods both see?
若言真者，何名释迦居娑婆界，人天同见？
Excuse me. I sort of hear. You see? What is that? Oh, it's the Koreans. Again. Hola. 안녕하세요. So distracting. So if he says the truth, okay, commentary. If he says the truth, it's true body. If the true bodies, okay, then how are you going to call him this host, the Shakyamuni Buddha, who is seen here in the Sangha world by the gods and the humans? Okay, he makes the argument. 112. If you say he is the response, how can you speak of Vairocana located in a lotus flower treasury, whom the great Bodhisattva seeing the Buddha's Dharma body?
若云应者，那言遮那处莲华藏，大菩萨见，见佛法身。
Okay, 113. And he says, on the other hand, you said, if this is really the response body of Buddha speaking the sutra, then how can the sutra speak of this Vairocana located, sitting in a lotus flower treasury, in that world there, whom the great Bodhisattva see? Okay, great Bodhisattva. I'm not sure why the great Bodhisattva has no S. Okay, seeing the Buddha's Dharma body. So maybe he's referring somewhere in the sutra where the great Bodhisattva says, I saw the Buddha, Vairocana Buddha, in the lotus flower treasury speaking of Dharma and speaking of sutra. And so this great Bodhisattva clearly is another Buddha. Okay? So don't worry. So he's being very difficult for us. 114. If you say he is one, how can there be different appearances in many places?
若云一者，何以多处别现？
Okay, so if you say 115, it says only Shakyamuni Buddha, okay, who speaks the sutra, then how can there be many Buddhas seen at different worlds, different places? What's that? 116. If you say he's different ones, how can you, on the other hand, say he does not divide his body?
若云异者，何以复言而不分身？
117. So some might say that, oh, definitely there's different Buddhas. There's different Buddhas speaking this sutra in different worlds. Then, if that's the case, then how can you claim that he does not divide his body? Okay, and that's it reminds me of Master Shenhua's some point in time when he came to the U.S. He became so busy. Okay, he became overwhelmed, and he says, he finally got to the point where he had response bodies himself. So people can see him in one place here, and then they all see him in Canada, for example. Yeah, they reported that. So that's response body. So he divides his body, if you will. That's a state of Mahasattvas. Cool? Okay. 118. Therefore, the Buddha who speaks the sutra is definitely not as previously described.
故说此经佛，必非前说。
So therefore, his conclusion. So the conclusion is that this Buddha, the Buddha who actually speaks the Flower Adornment Sutra, is as not described by all those rhetorical questions that the scholars would like to pose. 120. It is the Dharma realm's inexhaustible clouds of bodies, true in response, fusing with each other, one and many, not obstructing each other.
即是法界无尽生云，真应相融，亦多无碍。
121. So it has the great master Qing Liang, then drew his conclusion. He says, you can take either camps is not relevant. You're both wrong. Okay, he says it's just that you don't understand the state of Buddhas of the Dharma realm. This Dharma realm is inexhaustible. Okay, it's Dharma realm because of the various conditions can generate inexhaustible bodies. Okay, and true and response. So true is a Dharma realm. That's a Dharma body of the Buddha or the Dharma realm. Response is that Shakyamuni Buddha or Amitabha Buddha or Medicine Master Buddha, okay, or Baoshengfo, okay, or Jewel, Victory Buddha, and so forth. All those are the various conditions that made certain Buddhas appear in the world, a Maitreya Buddha and so forth. Okay, so that's a response Buddha versus a true Buddha, which is Vairochana Buddha or the Dharma realm. Okay, and all those there actually are happening at the same time, meaning interfusing. Okay, there's no distinction whatsoever. The distinction comes from you. You see it as Shakyamuni Buddha. You see it as Amitabha Buddha. When you go to the Pure Land, some people go to the Pure Land and they see Amitabha Buddha, okay? And they say, oh, finally, oh, this thing people in the Saha world have been promising me. Oh, actually it's true. Oh my goodness, my family would not believe this. Okay, and so they see these Buddhas, but they don't realize that with the limitation. They can see so much only. If you have the wisdom, you see that actually all these are happening at the same time without obstructing each other. One does not prevent the other from happening. Okay? I feel like telling you a Vietnamese joke in the wartime era, but I'm not going to tell you because it might offend some women. So it's about true response. Okay. Anyway, one. You try to get me in trouble. No, best not. Too many women who are very special disciples of mine. So it's funny, the true response, all these things, okay, are not mutually excluding each other. Isn't that amazing? Go ahead, Jewel Conk. 광호.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
아미타불.
Emitofuo.
제가 최근에 있었던 그 경험과 그 경험을 체험을 좀 말씀드리고 또 관련된 질문을 좀 여쭤보려고 합니다. 좀 내용이 장황할 수 있기 때문에 최대한 짧게 좀 하도록 하겠습니다. 달락달락 끊어서 하겠습니다, 사목수님.
I would like to share my experience and I would like to ask some question. It would be very long.
We have time.
최근에 한 1, 2주 전에 이제 가족 간의 시간을 보내고 있는데 이게 좀 투 퍼스널 할 수 있는 부분인데 이제 와이프가 좀 저한테 짜증과 화를 좀 많이 냈습니다. 그 이유는 이제 보통 저희가 저희 가족에 있는 그 어떤 카르마 이제 공부해야 될 걸 중에 하나가 저희 딸 아이가 비정상은 아닌데 일반적인 상황은 아니기 때문에 학교에서도 사실 특수반에 좀 있고 아예 정신이 비정상은 아닌데 좀 말을 많이 안 하고 좀 일반적이진 않습니다. 그래서 지금 놀이 치료도 받고 있고 좀 이런 특수 교육을 좀 받고 있는데 그런 상황에 대해서 좀 없지 않은 좀 불만이 있는 부분이 와이프가 있습니다. 그 상황 자체에 대해서 불만이 있는 부분이 있습니다. 저 같은 경우는 그 경우를 이제 어떻게 가족이 당면한 카르마이고 우리가 수행을 통해서 우리 현실 상황에 대한 적절한 대처를 통해서 곧 풀릴 거라는 부분을 말하곤 합니다.
My wife got a little bit afflicted because my daughter is a special situation. She is not very abnormal, but a little bit different from normal. So now she's in the special class in school, and she's got some special treatment from the hospital. So that is our karma in our family. So my wife got a little bit afflicted about that.
그래서 그런 상황에서 저는 이제 독려를 하고 하는데 그날은 그러니까 와이프가 받아들일 때도 있고 수행을 통해서 힘이 있을 땐 받아들일 때도 있고 좀 짜증이나 화를 많이 낼 때도 있는데 그날은 좀 짜증이나 화를 저한테 좀 많이 냈습니다. 그래서 이제 돌이켜 보면 이제 마스터님 말씀대로 이제 들어오는 압력을 풀지를 못해서 이제 저한테 그걸 풀어낸 것 같은데 제가 보통은 받아들일 때도 있지만은 그날은 제가 좀 잘 인욕바람을 못해서 잘 못 받아들이고 저도 좀 화가 많이 났었습니다.
When my wife got afflicted, sometimes I accept and sometimes I got afflicted at the same time. So at that time, I also got afflicted.
그래서 좀 심하게 어떤 저에 대해서 좀 일종의 책망을 하고 뭐라 그래서 저도 좀 약간 이성을 잃고 화가 많이 나서 일단 밖으로 나왔습니다. 밖으로 나왔는데 화를 그날따라 좀 다스리지는 못하고 굉장히 저 내면에서 좀 피해의식이 좀 올라왔는데 그 어떤 그 한 생각 중에 하나가 왜 이런 카르마가 이런 패턴이 왜 계속 반복될까? 내가 수행을 하는데도 참 싫다 이런 생각들이 올라와서 굉장히 좀 번뇌로웠었습니다.
She criticized me, so I got very angry and went outside. I couldn't control my anger on the day, so I thought about that. Why this thing keep happening again and again?
그러던 와중에 이제 화가 많이 난 상태에서 또 다른 제가 레이어 여러 이제 사고의 레이어 중에 어떤 한 측면에서는 이제 마스터께서 한 법문이 떠오르면서 그걸 받아들여야 되고 나는 그걸 받아들여야 된다. 그리고 이겨내야 된다는 그 법문이 떠오르면서 화는 나 있는 상태에서 스스로가 좀 다스리려는 그런 한 생각이 좀 많이 올라왔었습니다.
I have several thoughts, and one thought is I remember your teaching. I have to accept and I have to fight over that. So even though I was angry, I kind of accept your teaching.
그래서 화는 났지만은 뭔가 또 한켠에서는 이거를 잡아야 된다. 이건 내가 아니다라는 생각이 들어서 근데 좀 다른 상황을 봤습니다. 그날이 굉장히 추웠습니다. 오전이었었는데 영하 13도, 한국 디그리로 이제 영하 13도였었는데 굉장히 추운 상태에서 이렇게 마음을 다스리려고 산책을 하다가 한 생각이 올라왔는데 예전에 마스터께서 이제 불설 유교경에서 수행자는 결과부자의 아픔도 참아야 되지만 추위를 참아야 된다라는 그런 가르침이 떠올랐고 동시에 좀 이제 다른 데로 좀 갈 수 있지만 허운 조사께서 추위에 굉장히 수행을 하셨던 그런 이제 행장기가 떠올랐었습니다.
So I trying to think this is not me. And that day it was very cold, minus 13 thermometer, and one thought arises: we have to endure suffering and cold. I remember your teaching, and also I remember that Venerable he also cultivated in the cold.
그래서 이제 제가 든 생각이 이 추위 속에서 근데 또 다른 또 상황인데 제가 군대에 있을 때 동창이랑 동상이 걸렸기 때문에 이 손이 겨울에 있으면 굉장히 아픕니다. 귀랑 손이 굉장히 아프고 일종의 좀 추위에 오래 노출되면 찢어지는 고통이 있기 때문에 추위 자체를 이제 일종의 군대에서 일종의 트라우마가 생겼기 때문에 추위를 싫어하는 경향이 있습니다. 근데 그 상황에서 저는 이제 화가 너무 많이 났었고 그걸 이겨내려 했었고 그다음에 이런 이제 마스터분들의 어떤 가르침이 떠올랐던 거죠.
When I was in military, I got some trauma from the cold. I got some pain, very suffering in my ear and my hands. So at that time, I was very angry, and I really didn't like the cold. And at the same time, I remembered your teaching.
그래서 이제 본론을 말씀드리면 한번 제 있는 화와 그다음에 이제 아픔의 어떤 겨울마다 아픈 어떤 귀와 고통증을 한번 추위 속에서 결과부작 한번 해보자 그래서 집 근처에 있는 공원에서 영하 13도였었는데 이제 일부러 상의를 좀 타려고 자켓을 벗고 겉옷을 입은 상태에서 결과부자를 했습니다. 결과부자를 했는데 시작을 했는데 저 자신을 좀 이겨내고 싶었던 거죠. 근데 한 10분, 15분까지 너무 아팠고 귀와 손이 찢어지는 어떤 고통이었었습니다.
In the midst of angry and suffering, and then pain of cold, I want to sit in the full lotus. So in the park, I took off my jacket and sat in full lotus. I sat in 10 minutes and 15 minutes, and it was very, very painful.
특히 이제 귀가 너무 아팠었는데, 그냥 이겨내보자. 그리고 한번 해보자. 뭐 그런 생각이 들어서 계속 이제 결과보자를 했는데, 한 25분 정도부터 이 아픈 고통을 계속 참으니까 25분부터, 그 당시 때 저는 이제 그 단전에 굉장히 집중을 했는데 너무 추웠기 때문에 이 단전과 이 아미타불 부처님의 연보를 너무 집중을 할 수밖에 없었습니다. 왜냐하면 그걸 안 하면은 너무 이제 이게 집중을 안 하게 되면은 추위에 압도가 되기 때문에 계속 추웠는데도 아팠는데도 불구하고 계속 집중을 했습니다. 그래서 25분 정도, 그러니까 지금 이 반추가 보면 한 25분 정도 지나니까 갑자기 아픈 통증이 사라지면서 열기가 좀 도는 게 느껴졌습니다.
Especially my ear hurts a lot. And then, but I keep sitting. I won't overcome this angry and cold, so I keep sitting in full lotus. And for 20 or 25 minutes, I focused on my danjan. It was very, very cold, so I have to concentrate my danjan and Emitofuo. And then after 25 minutes, I feel some heat.
Whoa, you didn't die?
그 열이 좀 느껴지면서 이 고통이 좀 가라앉았고, 그 다음에 일종의 한 30분서부터 좀 편안해졌는데, 일종의 달걀 같은 것이 좀 비유를 하면 달걀 같은 것이 감싸면서, 그러니까 몸의 추위는 당연히 느껴졌지만, 그렇게 심하게 느껴지지 않았고, 제 마음이 별로 그 추위의 감각에 별로 반응이나 장애를 별로 못 느꼈습니다. 한 30분 지나서.
And I felt the pain disappeared, and I felt comfortable. It's like an egg surrounded by me. So
Oh my
even
God.
though it was very cold, I
Oh
didn't
my God,
react
you're
to the
crazy.
cold.
I would never do that. Oh my God. Don't tell your wife I told you to do that. I'm going to be in trouble. Wow, that's amazing, huh? Wow, it's madness
그래서
potential.
30분, 35분 지나서 계속 집중하는데 별로 이제 추위 감각은 추운데 별로 이제 그거에 대해서 이제 반응이 안 느껴졌었는데 계속 집중했는데 굉장히 집중이 잘 됐습니다. 35분부터. 근데 그 당시 때 동시에 마스터께서 데비참에서 하시던 데비주 연속으로 하시던 데비주를 계속 듣고 있었습니다.
For 30 minutes and 35 minutes, I concentrated very well. I didn't felt any cold. I really concentrated well, and I listened to the Great Compassion mantra.
그래서 쭉 한 30분 지나가면서 화가 그 전에는 굉장히 생각 때문에 괴로웠었는데 피해식 때문에 한 30분 지나부터는 생각이 이제 뚝 끊겼고 가슴에서 굉장히 자비로운 마음이 이제 추위도 별로 장애를 안 미치고 자비로운 마음이 막 들면서 이 와이프를 이런 상황 자체를 좀 더 인보해서 해야 되고 좀 더 제가 힘을 길러서 자비로 껴안아야 되겠다라는 그런 일단 한 생각이 이 앉아 있을 때 이제 들었었습니다.
Before I was very afflicted, but after 30 minutes, my thought disappeared, and the compassion arises in me. So I thought I need to embrace my wife.
그리고 이제 35분부터는 한 50분 정도까지는 그냥 편안한 상태에서 여유하게 지나가는데 그 속에서 계속 아미타푸 단전이 되면서 계속 아미타푸 했는데 중간에 아미타푸에 대한 집중을 놓치면 추위가 엄습하는 게 느껴졌고 그렇기 때문에 더욱 단전의 아미타불에 집중을 할 수밖에 없었습니다.
So until 50 minutes, I focus on my danjan and continue reciting Emitofuo. If I didn't concentrate, I felt cold, so I need to concentrate on danjan and keep reciting.
그리고 참고로 그 연볼 리사이팅은 이제 묵념을 했었었고요. 묵념을 하면서 계속 그 단전에 이제 호흡을 굉장히 집중을 했었었고 여유하게 가고 좀 눈물과 콧물이 막 이제 좀 나왔었고 그다음에 이제 자비로운 마음이 들면서 이제 눈물과 콧물이 나오면서 이제 한 50분 정도 됐을 때 아미타불 부처님 감사합니다. 그리고 제가 작년에 이제 세운 어떤 그런 행원을 꼭 완수를 하고 극락정토로 갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다 하는 그런 어떤 다짐을 스스로가 했었습니다.
So I recite silently, and my tears came out. And around 15 minutes, I thanked Amitabha Buddha, and I bowed to the practice and tried to my best to go to Pure Land.
그래서 한 50분 정도 이제 그만해도 되겠다 해서 풀었는데 그때 시계를 봤으니까 50분 지났었고 결과부절 풀고 이제 위소수를 입고 이제 근처에 집에 다시 들어가려고 하는데 이 어떤 풀고 나서는 굉장히 추웠습니다. 무슨 냉동 창고에 있는 것처럼 굉장히 추웠었고 그런 상태로 이제 집에 들어갔는데 와이프가 와이프 좀 어떤 그런 화가 풀려 있었고 저한테 너무 화를 내서 좀 미안하다고 사과를 하고 진심으로 저한테 좀 미안하다 그랬었습니다.
So I unbuckled and I tried to go home. After unbuckling, it was very, very cold. So I went home and my wife was calmed down and she said sorry to me.
그래서 여기가 이제 최근에 어떤 경험한 어떤 추위 속에서의 어떤 결과부터 저희 체험이었었는데요. 뭐 짧았지만 이제 마스터께서 가르쳐준 그 가르침을 씨앗으로 해서 좋은 체험을 할 수 있었던 것 같습니다. 근데 이제 질문을 드리고 싶은 것 중에 하나가 제가 이 체험을 하고 나서 이렇게 좀 극한의 상황에서 어떤 혹한의 그 후로 나서 제가 어떤 동상의 그 추위에 이제 귀나 손이 안 아픈 거를 체험을 했습니다.
So that was my experience sitting in lotus in coldness. So I had a really good experience thanks to your teaching. And after that, I have no pain in my ears and hands.
그리고 질문 드리고 싶었던 게 이런 이제 혹한의 어떤 그 겨울의 추위에서 가끔 이제 스스로를 단련하기 위해서 뭐 매일은 불가능하겠지만 뭐 일주일에 한 번 정도 이런 야외에서 이제 어떤 추위를 이겨내는 수행이 도움이 될 수 있을지 아니면은 몸을 또 상하게 하는 건 아닌지 이런 또 의문이 들었습니다. 왜냐하면 제가 이제 체험을 해보니까 이제 극한 추위 속에서 있다 보니까 더욱 단전과 어떤 연불에 대한 집중을 할 수밖에 없는 상황이었었기 때문에 수행에 도움이 될 수 있지 않을까 하는 생각을 했는데 또 한편으로는 이런 거는 이제 마스터님께 질문을 해야 되겠다. 왜냐하면 이제 몸이 이제 그 한계에 침범을 당할 수 있다는 생각도 들어서 그래서 이 부분에 대해서 질문을 드리고 싶었습니다.
So my question is that to train myself, would it be helpful to sit in lotus in coldness about once a week, or would it be harm to my body?
I don't feel that you need to expose yourself like that. Okay, it happened once. Those conditions were suitable for you to try that, and it worked for you because you were very upset. Okay, and it's not wise to do that constantly. But the lesson there is that for many of us, and we appreciate your sharing your experience with us, it's kind of cool, isn't it, that we can hear from him from so far away, and we don't have to be exposed to his COVID-19, Omicron. Okay. I feel so much better about technology. And it's fascinating that he's able to concentrate and fight the cold that effectively, that he didn't lose an ear or some toes or some fingers or something, and that to the point he even dares say, "Can I try it again?" You advise. It's so cool. You see, it's a proof right there that that Dharma works. That when he concentrated on the Great Compassion Mantra, yes, okay. So it's a combination, his concentration power as well as a Great Compassion Mantra power. So that's why I feel that just to be safe, because in the future, when one yin may be busy that day and you try to do is sit in the cold again, you might lose an ear. Okay? And it's not worth it, trust me. I mean, don't push her too much. Okay? Just be glad that, if in the future, if I get to the point where I must do this, I can know at least my chance of survival are pretty good. But that's not, go out on a limb again like that, okay? Repeatedly, that's like pushing it too far, okay? That's point number one. Point number two is that the Great Compassion Mantra has this power that enables you to reduce your anger, your frustrations, okay? That's what you're supposed to do. When you are angry, okay, the antidote for anger is compassion. So I started teaching you about stepping aside. Okay, the first thing you do when someone flares their anger at you, and I need to caution you, do not try this with the other stuff. I'm only teaching you how to handle anger. When someone dumps the greed on you, it's a different kind of thing, okay? You may not be able to handle it. So for now, for most people in our society, in our times, people lose their control, lose their cool. So they get very upset. And it happens very, very often for most of us. So that's why when it happens, you step aside, okay? And whether you are the person who's getting angry as well, you need to step aside, okay? Your wife gets angry, you need to step aside. And don't react to the anger that wells up inside of you. Instead, okay, turn the anger, and that happened to you via your meditation in the cold and reciting the Great Compassion Mantra. You turn the anger into compassion. That's why I taught you to look at the pain and suffering on the person who's angry instead of looking at your own suffering. Look at your own suffering, you increase your anger fire. You look at other people suffering when they're so angry, okay? They're suffering greatly. And when you see their suffering, you develop compassion. Okay? So that's what happened. So you, instead of looking at the suffering of your wife, you use the Great Compassion Mantra to develop your own compassion. You see that? That's why it worked. Okay? And magically, you came back and your wife, after you calmed down, she's calmed down. Because if you did not calm down, if you came back home and faced your wife, she would still be angry at you. It's because you became calm and have compassion. That's why she reacted accordingly. Does it make sense? Okay, so congratulations. So that's all. The lesson you learn here, you don't necessarily need to go out in the cold again in order to cope with your wife's anger. Just have compassion for her. Embrace her anger. Okay? She's suffering. It's too much for her. So she needs to vent out her anger. It's better to you than someone else. That's what we do for our beloved wives. Ching! Okay? We let them vent their frustrations on us, Okay? Better us than anyone else, like our children, our parents, our neighbors, her bosses. Okay? That's the little things we do out of love. Your wife is Buddhist, right? She's not Catholic? Okay? But thank you for sharing your experience with her. Isn't that cool? That, that he's so sincere. He says, the only thing he had, he said, I'm so angry. I'm going to die of cold or something. Amazingly, if he enters Samadhi and he froze to death, we wouldn't be able to share this experience with you. Then we say, no, it's the Catholic. He's Catholic, he's not Buddhist. That's why it didn't work. Okay, it's so cool. That's wonderful. Okay? All right. One more thing before we stop here tonight is that I noticed my little baby one. She sat down. And what did she do? After she passed the, Xian Kung passed the microphone to the guest, and she sat down, and what did she do? You need to pay attention to this. Z, where is Master Z? I need to teach him this. Master Z, where is he? Is he in Jewel Mountain or is he in Conch, at Conch? Jewel Mountain? Okay, he's there. Okay, because Pomhong Chunim is there, so that's he hurried back. Pomhong Chunim, 안녕하세요. Let's drink some tea, some good tea. I make some good tea. Okay, so you have to pay attention, Master Z, because what Xian Kung did is a little bit more central than she should pay attention. Okay, blow it up again. Okay, when she sat down, she pulled her sash up and around her body, and so that she doesn't sit on the sash. Okay. It's called central thing to do. She's too young, I cannot explain more than this. Xianan, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, XZ, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, when we sit down, okay, we stand straight, and we lower our body, we don't pull up our sash behind us. Okay, I saw many nuns do that, and that's not appropriate. Yeah, you just stand there. You stand in the place, and then you lower yourself, so the sash lowers itself. You don't need to pull it up like that. Understand? She doesn't get it. That's why I call it my baby.
Hello, Master. She cannot understand.
She can't understand?
She told me to pass the message to her. She can understand. Can somebody demonstrate? I don't know. She can't understand.
Let me demonstrate. And please don't take it wrong. Can you see? Is it clearer now? Did you get it or not?
She understood.
You are lucky no one sits behind you. Because I demonstrate in front of all these people. It's very embarrassing. Okay, thank you everyone. Good night.
Thank you, Master. She understood.
The little things.
Thank you, Master. She understood.
Little things will hurt your career, girl.
Xian Kung is red.